Welcome back, everyone. My name is Steven Rodriguez. I'm your true champion, and in continuation with our quote-unquote obscure decks for the Digimon TCG deck profiles, I'm bringing you guys a really cool hybrid deck list for a deck I like to call Tyrannomon Rush. Alright guys, let's hop into it. So you guys really loved my Lilithmon purple deck that I profiled for you guys yesterday, and so today I'm bringing you guys something really sick in the form of Tyrannomon Rush. It is a super cool kind of level 4 and 5 Rush style deck that tries to abuse Taiga, as well as various other staple cards in red and green to really create early game pressure against your opponent and hopefully flood the board with some really powerful Tyrannomon. Honestly, this deck is so much fun. Huge shout out to my boy Mello for originally coming up with the idea and showing it to me. It is a super cool list that I cannot wait to share with all of you. If you guys are excited for the continuation of some awesome Digimon content here on the channel, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so you know when my videos go live for you. And if you guys have any suggestions for other decks I can profile in the future, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. Also, if there's anything in this video you want me to talk more about or just kind of elaborate on, I do go live over on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I spend a lot of time in just chatting, and I love talking about this game, so just come stop by, hang out, and we can get a discussion going. Links down below, as always. But without further ado, what do you say we hop into Tabletop Simulator and talk about my really awesome Red and Green Tyrannomon Rush deck for the Digimon TCG. Alright guys, let's begin. Alright boys and girls, here we are in Tabletop, my go-to place for playing the Digimon TCG online. Links down below for all the things you need to play it for yourselves. Also, really quick before I get into this deck list, I want to stress one more time that this idea of Red-Green Tyrannomon Rush is not originally mine. That credit goes to my boy Mello from the Digimon Discord server. Thank you so much for giving me this list, man, and hopefully by me giving it to all of you guys, I can spark some really cool inspiration in you for building your own decks in the future. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the Digi-Eggs, because these are probably some weird ones you're not used to seeing. The first one is, of course, Yokomon, a really awesome generic plus 1000 DP whenever swinging at an opponent's Digimon, really helpful for making those tie of DP values into a favor for us, that way our dudes can stay alive after swinging in, or of course getting piercing value against our opponent. And then the really just super hot 4 of Digitama in this deck is, of course, Digimon, who has a really awesome inheritable effect of your turn. If this Digimon has piercing, it gets power plus 2000 DP. And in case you guys didn't know, the green Taiga gives all Tyrannomons piercing. So if you have a Tyrannomon in play and you have a Taiga in play, it gets plus 2000 DP if it has a Digimon under its sources, which is super cool. This card can make our dudes super powerful. We can swing into pretty much anything once we get to our level 5s, which is super awesome. It's almost like these cards have natural synergy together, even though they're not the same color. Wow, the Digimon card game is super cool, huh? That was stupid. All right, moving on to level 3s, the bread and butter of any deck. We are playing a full 14 in this deck because we are playing kind of an aggro style strategy, so having plenty of level 3s we can evolve into to cycle through our deck, / just play hard bodies on board is super nice. First things first, we have the vanillas in Monodramon, very standard, good for memory efficiency / filling our board, and we have some power gainers in the form of Gyumon, as well as starter deck Agumon for some nice generic plus 1000 DP to make our already powerful dudes even more powerful. The generically better one is of course going to be Agumon for the early game, but once we get to like the mid and late game, Gyumon is just as good, if not better, because it is 3000 DP by itself. Super neat. Rounding up to level 3s, this is kind of like a flex spot, but because we're playing such a tamer focused deck in the form of Taiga, as well as the red Tai Kamiya from the starter deck, playing this Agumon from the Dash Pack promo, or just the rare Agumon for when on play, search for tamer cards, can actually be super cool. It does not specify red tamers, so you can search for Taiga with this card, which is kind of sick. Moving on, we have our level 4s, sort of the main cards this deck is focused around using in the early game to create advantage and pressure against your opponent. We have 4 copies of Tyrannomon, the 4000 DP Jammer from the booster set. This card is so cool. Essentially, if you have all of your effects in play, like Taiga, Digimon, and your power gainers, this dude becomes 7000 DP with piercing and jamming. Even if your opponent blocks your attacks, they're still gonna take damage, and because this dude has jamming, it doesn't matter how powerful he is when it comes to doing actual security checks, he will not die. That is such an awesome way to sort of guarantee damage against your opponent. It's not even funny. Congruently, we also have 4 copies of Dark Tyrannomon, which may not have jamming, but because of his natural high DP value, if we give him some increases in the form of Digimon, Agumon, or even Red Tai Kamiya, whenever he does do a security check against the opponent, chances are he's not going to die, which is again a nice way to get good early game damage / good board clears against our opponent, because he can get pretty big pretty fast. Also, another really fun thing about this card is that he is a 1-cost evolution, and if you guys don't know, Taiga can actually reduce the costs of your Tyrannomons by 1 by resting him in terms of evolution costs, so he can essentially be a free card to evolve if you have Taiga in play, which is super sick for advancing your plays and just getting some more cards in play that have big DP values. Rounding out our level 4s, we of course have the 4-copy of Digimon Green the Blocker. This deck is really aggressive focused and doesn't really care too much about survival, but if our opponent is playing like a rush game v rush game, we want to have some kind of response to that, and 4 Digimon is the best answer. A card you could play instead of this is of course the Greymon with +1 security attack from the starter deck to make your level 5s even more pressuring. However, this deck isn't really focused on doing like a bunch of damage really fast. It's focused on doing consistent damage every single turn that your opponent cannot play around. That's the main idea. Not big damage, just like consistent damage. Moving on to level 5s, we have Metal Tyrannomon out of 4 of. This card is so busted in this deck. Not only is it a Tyrannomon, which means you can make it cheaper to evolve with Taiga, but it also gains piercing, which means you can make it more powerful thanks to all your awesome power gain effects, which means he can become 13k very easily, and thus he can swing into opposing level 6s at ease, and because he has piercing, he can also deal damage to your opponent. This card is so stupid, man. Not only is it just generically the best level 5 in red right now, in my opinion, but in this deck, it's just broken. Play out of 4 of course. Rounding off, we have just some nice little value cards in the deck in the form of 2 Skull Greymon and 1 Metal Greymon. The reason why I like having this is because if our opponent ever does have blockers in play, they can stop us from actually going in for a lethal swing, so being able to remove those is super nice, slash being able to gain a body on board is always cool, and the 1 of Metal Greymon can be a really cool way to, if we ever need to, extend into our top end plays in the form of Volcanic Dramon and Gallantmon if we need to. Another card you could consider playing that I'm currently not is the SR Garudamon. It's actually a really cool card. It just like generically has piercing, so you can just give it a free +2000 DP thanks to Babydamon, and it has a really cool inheritable, so if you ever do go into cards like Volcanic Dramon or Gallantmon and they block you, you can draw cards. Super cool card. Consider playing it if you want to. Moving on from 5s to 6s, we only have 3 copies of level 6 in this deck. We have 2 copies of Volcanic Dramon and 1 copy of Gallantmon. In all honesty, this deck doesn't really need these cards to win the game based on its main strategy, but having them can be a big bonus for you, and here's why. Volcanic Dramon, first of all, is a really good card to counter Rookie Rush style strategies, which is a really viable option in the meta right now, and a lot of times when you're playing this game, people have the mentality of, oh, he's about to lose, let's drop my entire hand of rookies so that I can guarantee game against him on the next turn. Volcanic Dramon really counters that kind of play, and having that option in this deck is much appreciated. Congruently, we also play 1 copy of Gallantmon as like an alternate win condition for this deck in case your Tyrannomon strategy isn't really doing what it should and is maybe taking a while to actually finish your opponent off. Also, this is a really good line of play against purple decks. You can just drop this card, they have a bunch of cards in their trash, and go in for a game a lot sooner. And the really cool reason why we play red level 6s in this deck is so we have access to the man, the myth, the legend, Omnimon. Now, while everything up until now has been very budget in terms of what this deck actually needs, I will stress this card is definitely not needed for the strategy. It's just a nice option to have on your top end so that you can have really good removal against your opponent, slash just a big body on board you can use to threaten them in the late game. I will also say if you don't wish to run this card because either you don't have it or you don't want to, a really good replacement is of course Puppetmon. Puppetmon is going to be a really good source for resting your opponent's dudes and then swinging at them with your piercers, or just halting your opponent's like game-winning turns so that way you can have that one last turn of hope of actually getting in there for the final blow. I really do like Puppetmon as a tech card for this deck, but for now I'm valuing Omnimon because let's face it, he's a busted card. Why not play him if you can? And that's pretty much it for our Digimon. This is a really awesome aggressive style strategy with the Digimon, and the Tamers and option cards support that very well. If you guys don't know, he's a 3-cost green tamer with the effects your turn, your Digimon whose name contains Tyrannomon get piercing. Super awesome effect for not only adding to our aggression, but proccing the rest of our effects in our deck. And if that wasn't enough, he also has a second effect, which says your turn, if you would Digivolve into a Digimon whose name contains Tyrannomon, by resting this card, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. Super cool card, makes our Metal Tyrannomons 2 cost, makes our Dark Tyrannomons free, and makes our other Tyrannomons really 1. If you ever have 2 of these in play, it can be super sacky sometimes, the amount of cards you can play during your turn, which is super sick. Moving on, we have 2 copies of Red Ty Kamiya. The real reason we're playing this card is so we can have access to our Gallantmon on Digivolve kill effect, which is super cool, but the added bonus of giving our dudes just generically +1000 DP is super cool, especially with Metal Tyrannomon, making him 11 or even 13,000 power if Babydamon's activated, so that way he can swing over pretty much every level 6 in the game is super sweet. Moving on from Tamers to options, we are playing a full 7 of some of the most powerful option cards in the game in the form of Gaia Force as well as Flower Cannon. Gaia Force, of course, strongest card in the game, removes any threat on the board if you need it. It's a really busted security effect, saves you games. And then Flower Cannon, super cool actually. Fun fact, as long as we have Taiga in play, we can use this from our hand during our turn, which is super cool. Rest blockers so we can go in for a game, or if you ever see it as a security, can literally save our butts from our opponent's gigantic board that could have killed us. Really awesome card, adds a lot to this deck. This deck, fun fact, has what, 13 awesome cards that we would love to see in our security. The second we get one of these cards for free off, it's just so much value for us. It's not even funny. And there you guys go. That is the Red and Green Tyrannomon Rush deck. Honestly, it's so much fun. This deck in the early game is effectively block proof, which is kind of crazy for just getting in tons of damage in the early turns. And then in the late game, you have cool cards like Metal Tyrannomon, Gallonmon, and heck, even Flower Cannon just to close out the match, which is honestly absurd. This deck is so much fun. Huge shout out once again to Mello for sharing this deck with me. It is so much fun. If you guys have any lingering questions about it, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, or better yet, hop into my Twitch channel. I do go live every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I spend a lot of time in just chatting, and I love talking about this game with you guys. So feel free to stop by, hang out, and ask some questions, and hopefully get some live answers from me. Links to my Twitch down below, as always. But without further ado, what do you say we hop into a game and see what this deck can do? All right, boys and girls, I have a game from a young man from the Digimon Discord server. I think I'm going second in this one. Yeah, he's going first, and this is our opening hand. Pretty solid opening hand, actually. And there we see a Freemon, which, oh no, chat, this is Rookie Rush. This is Rookie Rush. If I've ever seen it in my life, great. The battle of the Rush decks, I guess. We are a buffer Rush deck, if that's an okay thing to say, I think. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how that kind of dynamic goes. I will be able to play a blocker turn 1, actually, and only give him 1 memory during his turn, which feels really valuable for us. So I will go for that instead of going for like the aggressive, like, oh, play Taiga, play Dark Tyrannomon pass, because I am afraid of taking too much early damage because he did go first. But once we get our Tyrannomons going, we can really catch up in the damage game because we do have more powerful dudes than he does, which is super cool. There we see a Vulcan, so we could Flower Cannon rest and get a damage in here. That seems like a lot of commitment to cards, but hey, you do you, homie. You could just use it to play more cards. He currently has a green one here, which is like the last thing you want to see. You always want to see Upamon first. And there we see Haguramon. So he's playing a bunch of rookies. This is like all of them, bro. All the little guys. And there we see a 3-cost. Ooh, he's gonna regret that one. Alrighty, I'm gonna draw for turn because now I can play Taiga for free and then evolve into Dark Tyrannomon for free, which is pretty cool. So let's see. Do I want to do that? I'm just debating here. Yes, because I already have Taiga in my hand, so Agumon is not needed. I will rest this, play you for free, draw a card, and I will swing in for the 8, which is super cool, which swings over his entire deck most likely. Flower Cannon doesn't rest Corgimon, so we're fine. And I will just, I don't want to give him, is 7 too much? 7 might be too much. I'm trying to think if it's too much to give him. 3 is better. Yeah, 3 is better. So I'll go for the 3 here. Build my board too. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll go ahead and add the red tie to my hand. Group these. Oh. There we go. Almost lost him there for a second. Put him on the bottom and back up. Cool. He is building a very big board. I wish I had that Volcanodramon in my hand. That would have been a super nice counter what he's doing here, but I'm feeling pretty confident here with our ability to sort of counter what it is he's trying to do. We do have the potential of Flower Cannons and Terra Force or Gaia Force in our security, which could just literally just destroy him, which is super awesome. But let's see what he goes for here. 3 memory is kind of a lot for this deck. He can play pretty much his entire hand if he needs to, but let's see if he wants to evolve that Fremon. If he has access to it, he will definitely want to evolve that Fremon so he can get more dudes in play / dig through his deck a lot more, especially with Upamon access. But let's see what he goes for. And there we see a Kudamon. Ooh, that'll be pretty good for next turn for filling his hand back up. And we see a Vulcan's Hammer going back to 1, probably trying to choke me by playing a 2-drop from hand maybe, if I had to guess what it is he's doing. Also revealing that he has a Flower Cannon and 2 Vulcan's Hammers gone, so his security area is probably not the scariest thing in the world. He does have 5 dudes in play. Oh, Volcanodramon would just give us so much value here, which would be much appreciated. But alas, here we are in the world without value. Let's see. you were just 2,000 DP, which is kind of low, and I don't feel confident going in with that just yet. But let's go ahead. Let's swing with you anyway at the security. You do die, and that's revealing that it is play Puppetmon. I figured as much. Let's go ahead and swing next with Dark Tyranno. Good thing I swung with that first then. Sheesh. There we see the tape here. And then if I just hard play Metal Greymon, I can just kill him next turn. Slash play around him having Puppet, which feels smart. I could also just give him 1 memory with the Dark Tyranno by evolving it into Metal Tyranno. But not having the rookie here really sucks. So I want to go for the 3. So we have game on next turn. So I'll just drop down this Metal Greymon and give him 5. This could be, we don't die to a Flower Cannon, which is great. We could potentially die to Flower Cannon plus Puppetmon, but he only has 3 cards in his hand. He will draw thanks to the Kudamon. So maybe he has it, maybe he doesn't. This is always the scary thing about Rookie Rush. It's just like, his board is full and I have no Volcanics, so here we go. But I could have Flower Cannon in my security, by the way, guys. So that could really just save us the game as well. So I'm feeling pretty confident with this play, even though it is a bit aggressive on my end. And he's the king of aggressive decks, not me. But I do think we're in a good spot here. There we see the Flower Cannon, which is fine. We don't lose. But if we see a Puppetmon on top of that, that could be scary. Let's see what he's got. Does he think he wins? Does he think he wins? I don't know. Oh, and there's the Flower Cannon. Everything gets rested. I don't know why he's doing that. That stays, bro. Oh, I've been talking about it, guys. I'm like, we have Flower Cannon. It could be huge. And there we see him dropping the Puppet, like that does anything against us right now. We have full reign here of what we're able to do, which is very exciting. There we see a Tyrannomon. I could really just play 2 Gaia Force and not die. I could literally just drop 2 Gaia Force and not lose. Is that bad? Do I like not do that? I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Gaia Force on that. Yeah, that guy. I don't know why he put it in his hand. It goes away. And then the Kudamon. Yeah, I'm just gonna Gaia Force again, killing the Kudamon. Do you have another Puppetmon in your hand? I've seen 2 go away. You have 1 card in your hand. You can't draw any cards. Let's see what happens. You got 8 cards, 8 memory to work with. What can you do? Play 2 rookies and then pass? That's the fun thing with Rookie Rush. Like, give them much memory. See what they can do. Chances are just call a bunch of rookies, which isn't the most scary thing in the world. If only I had Volcanictramon, dude. Like, following up a Flower Cannon with a Volcanictramon is just like a smack in the face, bro. So he goes to 5. With that Kudamon play again, we don't lose unless we see another Puppetmon come out of his hand, in which case we have to respond to that somehow. And there's just a Gatsumon, which normally would be really good for him. However, I could, in theory, play around that. Gone. Gone. Gaia Force, I'm gonna kill this. Man, our security was just stacked. That's what's so cool about this deck, man, is you're playing so many powerful security effects. And there we see him just pass, and he's basically just like, yeah, man, go ahead, you win, you win. I'm gonna go ahead and draw for turn. Oh, I even drew Skull Greymon just for the killing of the Gatsumon. That's kind of funny. Let's see. Is there a point to evoing? No, sir. So we're just gonna swing in for a big boy here. I think he's 9,000 DP. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and swing in, go to 6. Is that this? And there we see that, and there we see the swing in for that GG. GG there, bud. Whew, interesting game 1, the Rush deck v the Rush deck. Let me see if he wants to play a different deck or if he wants to keep using this one. All right, boys and girls, here we are. I have a game pulled up from someone from the Discord server, and I am going first. And oh my gosh, this opening hand is so Rush deck worthy. All these rookies. But I'm going first. Let's see what can happen here. I'm gonna go ahead and hatch, and then Evo and Agumon. Drawing 1, and then just give my opponent 1 memory for their turn. I have no idea what he's playing, so let's just feel him out here and see what we got going on. And there we see purple. Okay, purple, interesting. Hopefully we can draw our 1 of Gallantmon and get some super hype things going here. If he gives us 2 memory during our turn, that'd be much appreciated. So let's see what happens here. Ooh, and there we see the hard play only giving us 1. I'm gonna go ahead and draw for turn. I think going in there for 7 is pretty safe. Most things in purple are kind of weaker than that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go in here, see what he can do. And there we see the 4, perfection, we are safe. And then likewise, I'm just gonna go ahead and play a vanilla of my own, give him 1, pass it back to him. I wonder if he's gonna go in super early here with his purple cards to kind of get in some good damage against us. There we see the Pagumon, going to mill that. Our damage reveals Taiga, his Immon is safe, and we get Taiga in play ASAP. Guys, this is why I love this deck. There are so many awesome security effects in it. We just have our Pierce engine going. Now I can kill that Immon and pierce him for damage all at the same time. That is so, so good. Oh my gosh, love this deck so much. I will say though, if he's a big brain boy, he'll evolve that Immon into a Devimon, and then I won't swing into it with my Piercer, because that could be a problem for us. There we see a Metal Tyrannomon killing his Demi-Devi. Boy, he wishes it was the other way around so badly. But let's see what he goes for here. Please do not evolve that Immon into Devimon. Don't be a smart boy, because if you retaliate a Piercer, the Pierce damage doesn't go through, which really sucks. So let's see what happens here. And there we see just a Matt Ashita gonna recycle something from his trash. He has what, a Taper, a Wizard, and a Demi-Devi in here? Okay, what's he gonna grab? He grabs the Tapir. All right, it is now our turn. I will stand and draw. I will go ahead and hatch. I will go ahead and Evo into Gyumon. I'll go ahead and draw. I could Evo here for 2 into Metal Tyranno, which feels actually really good to kind of keep my dude alive, even though he checks some potentially powerful security. So I'll go ahead and swing at this. What is it? It's 13. Yeah, 13 Pierce. There we see a Night Raid getting back a dude. Boy, he wishes that Tapermon was in there so badly right now. He has to mill first. Good call. Milling first. Ooh, there we see double blocker plus Intmon. Oh my gosh, that's so good for us. Even though we do have a way to kind of play around blockers by our Pierce cards, it would have been nice to kind of have the value there. He does have access to a Matt Ashita. We just saw 2 blockers go away. How bad is it if I just like hard play Metal Greymon then go in? Given that he has an Intmon right there, I feel like going for our blocker in case he wants to go for a retaliation shenanigan is our best play. So I will just evolve into Cordramon here and pass it back to him, giving him 3 after his Manashita takes place. Ooh, and there we see a Tyrannomon. Nice, good draw, good draw. Okay, evolving Gabumon, gonna get that nice draw 1 in hand. Just trying to figure out all of his options before he goes in for his turn. We know he has a Tapermon in his hand that he has to play potentially if he wants to get a board presence or just do anything else. I think the ideal play would be to play Devimon, you know, swing into Metal Tyranno, force me to block. I lose cards, you lose cards. Everyone's happy, but I get to keep my Metal Tyranno just swinging in for big damage, so he might not like that too much. All right, so he's swinging with the Immon. I'm gonna go ahead and block that with Cordramon. Very easy block. It still stops the potential for a Devimon play. He milled a Wergurumon and a Heat Viper, and I think a Chimeramon. What was that? Yeah, a Chimeramon, I think. He's hard playing an Immon for turn. Okay, there's 11 cards in there too. Ooh, I would, oh, Myotismon. It was a Myotismon, not a Chimeramon. I would love to draw my freaking Gallantmon right here. And there we see the hard play of the Beelzemon. Super cool. Obviously going to kill my Cordramon, only thing he can kill. But he did give us 4 memory for our turn, which is quite a lot given what our deck can do. I'll go ahead and draw for turn, and oh my gosh, guys, I just drew Flower Cannon. Oh my god, we can rest this and then swing into it with 13k Pierce. Oh my god. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that is so amazing, boys and girls. And then we can go ahead, evolve this for 1, draw a card, swing in with jamming so we don't die to anything. Oh my gosh, boys and girls. It's just rude at this point what we're doing. And then I can just hard play this Cordramon, keep all my dudes alive. So in case he wants to go for, again, a retaliation shenanigan, we can counter it. Oh, what a beautiful Flower Cannon top deck. What a beautiful Flower Cannon top deck. And there we see the Vilemon as expected, but he needs to play a second one if he actually wants to survive this turn. So he needs to play Piedmon really badly, which if he does, we can do some fun stuff. And oh boy, boys and girls, oh, sorry. I don't know what that was happening. There we go. All right, boys and girls, he is a little bit in trouble here. Let's go ahead and draw for turn. I will go ahead and hatch. I will go ahead and evolve. I will go ahead and draw. And let's see, I'll go ahead and swing here. Cool. I will go ahead and swing for 6 at him. He must block. We will both die. And there he just says, type in the GG. GG's there, friend. GG's. That flower cannon was dirty. And boom, there you guys go. That does it for my Red Green Tyrannomon Rush deck for the Digimon TCG. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications so you know when my videos go live for you. And if you have any lingering questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I've been your true champion, Steven. Please be sure to work hard, rest easy, and live well. And I will see you all next time. Peace.